This section really relates a lot to the last section, and this section is on subtracting integers. And I'll show you really quick why it's very much like the last section we did. So we're going to use one rule for this section, and this rule is going to define everything we do. So whenever we are subtracting two numbers, we're going to use the rule that subtracting a minus b is the same thing as adding a plus negative b. So let me show you how that works. So let's say that we want to do 13 minus 4. We're going to rewrite 13 minus 4 using that rule as 13 plus negative 4. Let's try another one. Let's say I have negative 8 minus 2. I'm going to use that rule to rewrite this problem as negative 8 plus negative 2. Try one more. Say we have 11 minus negative 15. Going to change this to 11 plus negative 15. This one's a little bit special because this negative right here, that's the double negative rule. So I can change this to 11 plus 15 because double negatives become positives. Okay, so now that we've rewritten all these, let's evaluate them. So let's start with problem A. 13 plus negative 4. We've done that. That's adding two integers different sign. So I'm going to take the largest minus the smallest, so that's going to be 13 minus 4. 13 minus 4 is going to give me 9. And the sign of my answer is the sign of the largest number, which in this case was positive. So that's going to be positive 9. Let's try this one. Negative 8 plus negative 2. I have two integers, same sign. So I'm going to add up their absolute values. So I'm going to add 8 and 2. That's going to give me 10. And I'm going to give it the sign of both numbers. And both numbers were negative, so the answer is negative. And finally, right here, all I have is 11 plus 15. I have two numbers, same sign. So I'm going to add up the numbers together. That's going to give me 26. And because both numbers are positive, my answer is positive 26. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to give you some practice problems, and I'll help you rewrite them as subtraction, as addition, but I'll leave the evaluating up to you. So I'll let you do negative 9 minus negative 1, 6 minus 9, negative 14 minus 5, negative 3 minus negative 4, negative 6 minus 5 minus 2 minus negative 3, and finally 8 plus negative 2 minus 9 minus negative 7. So let me do a couple of these. Let me help you rewrite them, and then we'll worry about doing them. So this one we can rewrite because this right here is a double negative, and double negatives get rewritten as positives. So that's going to be negative 9 plus 1, and I'll let you find the final answer there. This one we're going to rewrite as 6 plus negative 9, and again I'll let you do the final answer. This one will be negative 14 plus negative 5. This one is a double negative, so we can rewrite this as negative 3 plus 4. And I'll do one of the last two for you. How about I do this one, and then I'll let you do the other one on your own. So let's do rewriting before we go and solve. So negative 6 plus negative 5 plus negative 2 plus 3. This last 3 is positive because the double negatives give me a positive. So now that I'm here, I can add negative 6 plus negative 5. That's two numbers, same sign. So when I add the two numbers, my sign is going to stay the same. It's going to be negative 11. Then I can add these two integers, same sign, so add up their absolute values, and I get 13 negative. And finally, right here, I have two integers, different sign. So I'm going to take the largest minus the smallest. That's 13 minus 3. That gives me 10. give it the sign of the largest, which was negative. So my answer is negative 10. And I'll leave the last one up to you. And very much in the same way that we did this a section ago, we're going to do this here again. We're going to evaluate some expressions. So let's say we want to evaluate the following. We want to evaluate x minus y if x is negative 5, y is 13. So we're going to do the same thing we did before, which is everywhere we see an x, we're going to put it in parentheses. Everywhere we see a y, we're going to put it in parentheses. And then we're going to plug in our numbers. X was negative 5, y was 13. So we have a minus b. So we're going to use that rule that we learned up above. This rule right here. Scroll the page up if you don't see it. To rewrite this as a sum of numbers. So I'm going to rewrite this as negative 5 plus negative 13. So here we have two numbers, same sign. So all I'm going to do is to add up their absolute values. So I am going to get 18 and keep the sign of both numbers, which was negative. So my answer is negative 18. Let's try the following. Let's try to evaluate 3y minus z when y is negative 9, y is positive 9, z is negative 4. So I have 3 times y minus z, plug in a 9 for y, and negative 4 for z. 3 times 9 is 27, minus a negative 4. This pattern right here should look familiar. Minus a negative, that's a double negative. So I'm going to rewrite this as a positive, 27 plus 4. And then when I add these two together, I am going to get 31. It's easy as that. Okay, let's try a sample problem before we go off into the next section. So let's say we have the following problem. So let's say we have the problem that the highest point in Asia is the top of Mount Everest at a height of 29,028 feet above sea level. The lowest point is the Dead Sea, which is 1,312 feet under sea level. So let's say here's sea level. We have 29,028 feet, that's Mount Everest. And the Dead Sea is right here, and that's 1,312 feet below sea level. They want to know how much higher is Mount Everest than the Dead Sea. So they want to know, here's the Dead Sea, here's Mount Everest. What is the distance between these 2 points right here? So what we want to do, you can look at this a number of ways. You can look at it by saying, well, if I want to find the distance between the 2 points, all I can do is I can just add up the numbers together. Something else you can do is you can take the principle of, well, if we wanted to usually find the distance between the two, you would take the top one minus the bottom one. Because this is below sea level, I'm going to use the sign number and I'm going to make it a negative. So the distance between the 2 points is the top of Mount Everest minus the bottom of the Dead Sea. So I can rewrite that as 29,028 minus negative 1,312. Using the rules of double negatives, I can rewrite this as 29,028 plus 1,312. And you can add those two numbers together. We've done that before, and you're going to get an answer of 30,340 feet. So we should be able to take word problems like this, draw an image out, and then be able to solve the problem that way.